there was a tie-in event for Nier Automata. You know, what the white hair and the blindfold and the nice butt. That is really important, that nice butt part. So what happened is they added a glamour where you could wear their boots. You can get the full Nier outfit and you can wear her boots. Well, there was a bug that made your butt particularly shapely, bubbly, perhaps. And they're like, we're sorry, community. We're so sorry. This is a bug. We'll fix it. And the community uproared. And they said, no, you leave that bugged butt in. So our very own dancing Pope, that's why he has such a rocking set of cheeks.
Greetings and welcome back, everyone. This is Nexus Gaming News. I'm Garrett Weinzierl, here as always with Kyle Ferguson. And Kyle, I thought today, you know, it's Thanksgiving week. We're about to get out of here and eat too much. Figured let's just sit down. You know, we've been getting to know Final Fantasy and the Final Fantasy community. I figured, you know, maybe they can get to know us and we can check in on how our leveling is going in FF14.
Yeah,
because I've done a lot of it.
1 month of Final Fantasy for you and 1 month of investigation for me.
Oh, an investigation?
Well, you know, getting to know the community, mainly streaming. You know, when you practice alone, you make bad habits. So I've been streaming a lot of my gameplay, which means I've learned a lot of the ins and outs, the culture, the do's and don'ts. Mostly about making your buttocks look good in certain boots.
Your buttocks look good.
Yes, it's very important stuff.
Okay, so you've been investigating how to be sexier.
What's important? It's important. It's a sexy game.
You know, I had kind of forgotten how sexy it could be. I recently fought a harpy and Gerudo, and yes, oh my. This is a thirsty game, Kyle. But yeah, I've been learning just a ton from the comments on our past videos that have covered Final Fantasy at this point. Keep those tips coming from the seasoned players. It has really been helping me and helping me learn about the game. So thank you. Thank you for everyone to continue to school this old WoW player. I really had a good time reading about everyone's favorite jobs last week, but I ran into something that I wasn't expecting, which is the two jobs that sound the most interesting to me are Red Mage and Samurai, and I guess they're part of Heaven's Ward. But I'm past 50 now. So can I go pick them up, or do I need to get to Heaven's Ward first?
You don't have to get to the expansion. In fact, Red Mage is there in Udal for you to go grab now. But I don't know if there's like main story stuff, like you have to beat A Realm Reborn. You just have to own the expansion, even though you can get it at 50.
That makes sense. Okay, that's cool. I mean, all of this kind of leads to the next question I did kind of want to ask our viewers and our listeners, because for me and my experience, my mileage has really varied trying to find like good resource websites for Final Fantasy XIV. Coming from WoW, so I'm used to having things like WoWhead on tap, which are very robust. So what's everyone's like go-to Final Fantasy XIV resources? What websites do you go to follow along? Now I've learned, I know, like at least as far as like leveling and making sure I go and get my job quest, that I should just be keeping an eye on that top left corner. Although at the moment it's still telling me to go to a job quest that's blocked out until I defeat another primal, which I literally just defeated, so I should go do that. I'm remembering this as I'm saying this. But anyways, I want to know where everyone's getting their info. What are your favorite guides? What are your favorite websites? You're further ahead than me, so do you want to know where this noob scrub is?
Absolutely. I feel like you've been going pretty fast through the game, so I'm curious to know what your quest has been like.
I have, and I've been a little quicker about kind of skipping through stuff that seems not as important, but I hit a major escalation of the story when I went and fought the primal Gerudo, which if you've fought before, I'm sure you're aware of the escalation of the story I'm mentioning, and we're going to talk about it here. So bit of a spoiler warning. You know, maybe you are leveling alongside with us for the first time. There will be a Realm Reborn spoilers, at least for me, up until the end of the primal Gerudo fight. But quite a bit has happened since we did our last video, starting with a Titan further down the food chain, which is I defeated Titan, which is also the first time I died playing Final Fantasy.
Oh, yes, the circle, the confusing circle of red.
That's not what happened.
No,
I didn't
really?
die by falling off of the breaking platform.
Oh, okay.
I've fought the Lich King in Wrath of the Lich King, Kyle. I know of collapsing circular platform when I see one. No, I don't know. We'll cut in some footage here of the fight, so maybe astute viewers can tell me exactly what the hell went wrong. But I think our healer kept dying. I'm pretty sure our healer just kept dying, and then eventually we died. So yeah, not only was fighting Titan my first death, but I believe it was also my second, third, and maybe fourth death. I forget how many damn times we died. We died a lot.
But you kept the same group.
We did. I noticed, I guess you gain power every time you die. I don't know if that's every instance, because it's like, story required. Although I guess every instance so far has been story required.
Right. It wants to make sure you get through it, just as it offers you the chance, should you die or fail a mission on the main story quest while playing alone, to lower the difficulty for yourself.
Yeah, but this time I was seeing a message I had never seen before. It was talking about how you would get a buff every time you die.
Okay. So I think the biggest achievement that you had was going through the pre-Titan storyline stuff, because that is very, very old school MMO grindy.
Yeah, I did start to get bored. This is probably the most bored I've been in the game so far, was kind of that pre-Titan lull. Some of it was still funny. I enjoyed going around and getting like the stinky cheese for the fancy dinner party. Like, that's the type of like absurdist humor I do enjoy in my MMO.
Yeah, it was cute, right? You do the fake fetch quests for the guy who's pretending to be the champion, and then you get in a rock battle with him, and then you accidentally make dinner for your own feast.
Yes, that whole bit was great. I liked him and his costume. He's got wonderful thighs.
That he does.
But I feel like it was almost perfect. Like right around the time I started getting, I would classify it as horribly bored. I beat Titan, and I was just thinking to myself, if I have to go back to what I call the office room out in the Waking Sands and talk to Minfilia again, I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm so sick of going back to this stupid room and having meetings. And that's where, spoiler alert, shit hits the fan. People start dying, and I care, Kyle. I don't think it was on one of these. I believe I was streaming, and folks were asking if I was getting into the story at all. And they were asking about like the different races in the different, major cities that we deal with. And I believe, who are the plant people? The Sylph?
Oh yeah, the ones who chatter ever so slightly with Grandma Good Cookies.
And someone was asking me what I thought of them, and I was like, their design, not my favorite thing in the world. However, and I do believe on stream I said, there's this one wearing like a sad mask, and I love it dearly. So
oh yeah, it got kicked.
I was really, really bummed. In the last week, I have gone through some emotions playing through the Realm Reborn MSQ, and I can't believe they made me go pick up bodies and have a cast bar that is of varying lengths. The cast goes quicker if they're smaller races, which I was like, that is the crudest game design joke. It's just like, oh yeah, no, the little ones, you pick them up a lot faster.
Right. Carry multiples. It is a fascinating exploration of what lame parts in video games can do. Like Lord of the Rings, you gotta walk across some mountains, and while we are wowed through New Zealand, it's not the most, thrilling part of that movie. However, the journey is very important. So when you walk down that hallway for the 1000th time, and it bores you to tears as you hit another loading screen, when it changes, when the lights are different, suddenly you have a lot of emotions.
That's exactly it, right? Like I've been told, it was like, people are like, no, pay attention. Like even minor characters, they're important later, or you're going to care more about them than you think. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I'm sure you're into it. You're already a fan. I'm coming to it from a somewhat skeptical viewpoint. But as I keep kind of finding out, like, yeah, hearing common sentiments, there's a reason they become common. Like a lot of people kind of have similar experiences and kind of get to these points where, you thought that character wasn't all that important. It turns out, yeah, they kind of are. And if you do get, even a little bit attached to them, you're gonna have to deal with some downturns in the happy-go-lucky story up to this point. Like I said, I thought the timing was almost perfect. Like right where I was like, oh man, I'm kind of getting a little bored with the formulaic beat a primal, go back to the office and have your office meeting, and go back out into the world. That's when the story kind of blows all of that up and breaks the pattern that it had set up until that point. Basically, everything past Titan I've been really enjoying. Obviously, as a summoner, I know that you haven't played one. Your job quests as a summoner are really, really tightly tied to the MSQ. The reason I was having so much trouble knowing when the hell to go back to get my job is because I didn't realize they were like directly tied to defeating the primals. Because you have to wait until you defeat the primal to get your new summon, because the summon is like a lesser version of the primal.
Okay.
Or it's like tied to the primal. I'm sure I'm butchering the lore here, but
you got a Pokemon catch the primal's essence, and now you can summon it.
Yeah. Beat Efreet and got an Efreet Eggy, beat Titan, got a Titan Eggy, so that's my latest Eggy, and now that I have just defeated Gerudo, I now have a new job quest I can go do to get my Air Eggy.
Nice.
It's really, all the pieces are kind of falling into place, and now I don't feel so lost, and it's cool. I like having this, as fun as it is to come to a new game, like completely ignorant. It's nice to feel like I know what I'm doing when I log in each day.
I'm really happy that your class quest is good, because Paladin is awful. Really dull, with an unlikable leader who keeps being like, I'll resolve to do better. Just get out of here and make me king of the Paladins. You are a bore.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's
I wouldn't say, I'm not really tied to anyone I'm interacting with in my job quests. Like I couldn't tell you who the lady is that I keep going to by the falls to get my job quests. I don't know her name. She's not really standing out to me as a character. However, I guess I did just get attacked by some evil summoner on one of my my summoning quests. So that was a surprise. And again, it was like this right around the moment where I'm like, yeah, I know how these job quests go. I talk to the lady, I go out to the place, I kill an elemental that is somehow related to the primal I just defeated, and then I learn my new summon. But then this one, it kind of, again, threw a monkey wrench into everything. Like, oh, it's an evil summoner. It was very Team Rocket. It's like, here's my Pokemon, here's your Pokemon, let's fight.
So mine was, I do very much the same thing, except for I take an artifact and then defend it from monkeys for a time while they attack the artifact. And then it's like, you now remember the ancient secrets of the Paladin. It makes no sense. Paladin's going to be one of the main classes jobs in Endwalker, and I think that's kind of to make up for all this and give us some heading.
Okay, so you've got some bones to pick with the Paladin stuff.
But I'm enjoying it otherwise. And I love tanking, and I love sword and board tanking.
I mean, I do too. I'm sure I'll pick one up eventually. Again, though, really want to try Red Mage and Samurai after everyone's comments that pertain to those two. They just sounded like two things I would really like. Dark Knight piqued my interest as well.
Oh yeah.
But it seemed almost too on the nose for me. It's like, oh, it's dark and evil and it has giant swords and wears like Hot Topic armor. Like, I'm like, okay, yeah, that might be a little too on brand. Who knows? Maybe I should, like all things, just give in to what people are telling me to do and enjoy myself.
Right. Don't go down that road with Final Fantasy. That is what we are literally here to do. I'm most excited for a class called Reaper that has a scythe. Like, just don't let your fear of cool get in the way of you enjoying the cheese, because it's going to be cheesy.
I'm really enjoying the cheese. I think that's a big part of the reason this game has endeared itself to me in relatively short time. I mean, I guess, yeah, it has been a month now of us both. Well, you've played it longer, but us kind of covering it on this show and me playing it with any regularity.
Well, and so it's been a month for me since I sort of publicly announced I'm playing this and started streaming it. And in that time, I've learned a ton, not only from these YouTube comments, but just from getting on my streams and figuring out things like Gshade, which was one of our number one requests when we talked about the art in this game at all. Your colors are just saturated. They're just not they don't pop. Your depth of field is off. That's why you don't like the art in Final Fantasy. You gotta get Gshade. And so that was one of the big projects I had this week.
I went and looked at some guides, and I didn't love how it made the game look. So it kind of made me appreciate the base look of the game.
This is about seeing things in motion, and when you really pop out those colors, when spells are flying, and when that lighting is hitting the wall from the spells, that's where it gets interesting, and that's where you have an emotional connection with this. So I did not care when I was standing on top of a building, looking out into the distance and adjusting my graphics. Didn't really care. Green's more green. Hurrah. I cared when I got to the golden saucer, and all the lights of the casino were reflecting off my armor now.
Maybe I should still give it a try. I've been really enjoying just getting in and playing, so I haven't gotten to a point where I want to just kind of stop and tinker. I don't want to tinker right now. I just want to play.
The main story quest takes a bit of a pause, if you will. Credits roll on your A Realm Reborn experience, and you have every single patch of story to go through until you get to Heaven's Ward. And that's where I'm at right now, and it changes tone pretty frequently, as you can expect from any MMO. I'm gonna go explore. I've got a lot of questions to answer, like going out to the Golden Saucer. I did that this week, and that was frankly quite awesome.
This has been the number one question I get from people is, "Hey Garrett," I go, "Yeah," almost as like hush whispers. "Have you done the Golden Saucer yet?" I'm just like, is it, I think I even asked someone in the comments last week, wait, is it great or is it infamous?
It's great. One thing WoW players do to describe it is they say, oh, it's like a permanent Dark Moon Fair. The Dark Moon Fair in comparison is like your local state fair. This is Disneyland. Maybe even Disney World. The Golden Saucer is a rather immersive experience. And the fact that there are so many people actively playing these games welled me up. I'm not going to lie. It was the Dark Portal kind of opening moment of just realizing, oh my God, this MMO is full of people. These are all real people playing this dumb game with me. And we're all doing the jump puzzle and trying to collect Cactus Men trophies.
But so it was like the night that I just spent hanging out by the Aether Crystal in Limsa, just looking at pets and costumes.
Very much so. It is, and nobody wears their armor. I was the only guy in there like wearing questing gear. Everybody dresses up. Everyone puts on their casual clothes, their fancy ball dresses. It was really an experience. There are some, lame mini games. It's all about getting this special currency that you can turn in for more dances and pets and even armors for your transmog kind of system, your glamours. There's the whole set called the Emperor's New Shield, which I found fascinating, being that you can have invisible clothes. So if you want to run around your underwear, you could transmog yourself and do invisible stuff. Or in this case, they gave me the option to be a paladin with a shield, but my shield's invisible. So I look like I'm blocking it on my arm. And that might be a fantasy I want to fulfill. Like there's a lot of optional things in there. There's big jackpot systems, but mostly I really, really enjoyed the gates, which is I believe every 30-minute event where there's some sort of challenge, and it can be a platforming puzzle. It can be a dodge the stuff kind of puzzle. Very much like a raid mechanic in that way.
I like how much people are into how they look in this game.
And I actually found out an interesting story about that this week. So there was a tie-in event for Nier Automata. You know, with the white hair and the blindfold and the nice butt. That is really important, that nice butt part. So what happened is they added a glamour where you could wear their boots. You can get the full Nier outfit and you can wear her boots. Well, there was a bug that made your butt particularly shapely, bubbly, perhaps. And they're like, we're sorry, community. We're so sorry. This is a bug. We'll fix it. And the community uproared. And they said, no, you leave that bugged butt in. So our very own dancing Pope, that's why he has such a rocking set of cheeks, is because he's wearing the Nier set of boots while he dances. Otherwise, your butt's rather flat and normal.
Did you just school me on the lore behind amazing badonkadonks?
If you see a butt that is particularly shapely and you see them in black boots, that is the reason.
Okay. Well, thank you, Nier.
Thank you, Nier, for your service.
Ass folk world round, thank Nier. Well, that's amazing. I didn't intend for this episode to be the ass episode, but yeah, that was like my reaction with the Gerudo loading screen. I was just like, oh, that's a camera angle.
Yeah, the camera goes where it will.
That is for damn sure. By the way, dude, the Gerudo fight, that was my moment like you had with the Freak.
Oh, cool. Okay.
There's a moment where boss organ music starts to swell. And Gerudo also does, like, straight up to me, as someone who hasn't really played a lot of Final Fantasy, so my Japanese adventure game of choice is definitely Zelda. Her evil laugh reminds me so very much of Ocarina of Time.
Oh yes, it's very much the kind of on the back of the wrist sort of thing. Oh, that's fascinating. So for me it was fire, and for you it was wind, and the windy business got you interested.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was the best skybox I've seen so far. That whirling vortex of wind is a very cool effect. But I don't think it was the wind so much as just like creepy laughter and organ music. It made me think of Ganondorf has the organ in Ocarina of Time, which is, I haven't thought of Ocarina of Time in a really long time. I realize it's like one of the most famous video games of all time, but for me, it's something that really lives in my brain as something that I was playing in my very early teens. I haven't revisited it in like 20 years.
Sure, that's powerful stuff.
Yeah. So that's the thing again, is like it's been so long since I've really let myself get lost in a Japanese game that, like, I realize that this is normal if you're a Final Fantasy fan, but as someone who isn't, it's reminding me of all the Japanese games I grew up playing, in a good way, without it being extremely nostalgic, if that makes any sense. Because again, I don't really have a big tie to Final Fantasy. I played a few of them growing up. It's more just kind of like this. It's like nostalgic for like a feeling or an aesthetic or a sense of humor. It just keeps hitting me while playing through this, and I think it's another big reason it's kept me going. But now, I mean, obviously, spoilers for the Gerudo fight. Things go so sideways. I mean, there's some video game shit that happens in that fight where, like, all the bosses you've defeated so far have been summoned, and here's a giant evil robot that's going to eat them and absorb their powers.
Yeah, but the Empire is shameless.
I keep calling that dude Darth Gaius too, because I was like, he's Gaius. I don't remember the rest of his title, and he just looks like a Final Fantasy Darth Vader.
You ran around with two dudes called Biggs and Wedge for like 3 hours, so it is on the nose.
Oh my god! And then got the airship. I'm not even a big Star Trek fan, and it's like Enterprise engage.
Enterprise engage.
And I'm like, wow, they really went for it.
Yeah,
they just, this is like a major story point, and they made a Star Trek reference out of it. Okay.
They had to reborn the world. They had 2 years or 1 year or whatever, and they said, it doesn't matter to me. Let's get this game done.
I'm stoked. Like, I want to get back in there right now and just keep pushing that story forward, because I want to see how this ends. And I'm really stoked to get to Heaven's Ward, and it sounds like there's a lot in between there and where I'd like to be.
You got some required raids to do, some of your first big ones there. There's going to be a lot of side questing that kind of adds to the world and sets it up in a very interesting way, but it is pretty big, and it's what's prompted my exploration of other things for now.
Yeah, I've been doing this tempo switch of, all right, breeze through the quest text. All right, stop. This seems important. I'm going to read and absorb it. And I feel like I haven't really missed out on too much story-wise. We'll see, because I know so many of these characters continue to come back, like, way down the line. Don't worry, folks. I'll admit if I made a horrible error and can't remember where certain characters came from.
I think you got him. You got your emotions played with some music and some wind and some laughter. It sounds like you're invested, and whether you choose to read every single text, that's more your personal style.
Thank you for not judging me. Let's see if anyone else does. Well, that brings us to the end of yet another episode. Don't forget to comment below and let us know what guides and website resources you like for Final Fantasy XIV. I still haven't really noticed a trend of the ones that are helpful for me. And yeah, if you want to get in touch with us, follow Kyle at Kyle Ferguson on Twitter, and I am at Garrett Art. Other than that, make sure you like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and we'll see you in a week's time with more Nexus Gaming news. Until then, good luck and have fun, everyone.